Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Porn pun-named household film names that would raise eyebrows. Nanny McFuck, Kindergarten Cock, Poonies, Sophie Has No Choice, Schindler's Fist, Girl Interrupted by Stepbrother, and my personal favourite, Silence of the Ham.
On today's episode, we will be talking about Overlord. This is a 2018 film directed by Julius Avery and stars Jovin Adepo, Wyatt Russell and Matilda Olivier. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. A small group of American soldiers find horror behind enemy lines on the eve of D-Day. Here is an original song to support the synopsis.
1,000-year Reich needs 1,000-year soldiers. Yeah! 1,000-year Reich needs 1,000-year soldiers. Yeah! Hitler's got an ace up his sleeve. It begins with the letter Z, the American way of saying Z, which is apt for a story about the living dead. The Allies come by land and sea to put an end to the tyranny. Wyatt reminds me of Macready to save mankind by his own demise. Hitler's got an ace up his sleeve. Yeah. It begins with the letter Z, the American way of saying Z, which is apt for a story about the living dead.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you.
Let's start with some facts about the film. Overlord's first sequence, which sees the soldiers jumping from a burning plane, was done by rigging a plane on a gimbal, actually blowing up the front, tilting it as if they were actually falling through the air and sending stuntmen tumbling through real fire.
You can only appreciate that.
You have to give that props.
That's amazing to sit there and go, right, this is going to actually help the actors act through the scene, act through the craziness. No CGI, you ain't looking at a fucking green screen. Let's have some fun.
And there's real risk there. There's real flames there, people. There's actual dangers in that stunt. At any moment, something could go wrong, and this fact would be a much heftier affair.
That's why you get into acting, though. For jobs like that, when you're falling down a plane, there's fire outside the windows, you're in the role. You're in the role. You don't even have to method act. You're there.
I feel if Overlord had more risky set pieces like that, more incredible stunts, the final product would be a better final product.
They decided to omit any sort of swastikas from the film, didn't they? Which I find silly. I find that so stupid. It was a flag for a tyrannical people. You don't get rid of the Roman eagle in Roman films.
But if you're going to have a mad story set amongst a real terrifying event, leave those little stamps of realism in it, because you're doing the locations are the same, you're doing the Nazi soldiers, you're doing D-Day, you're doing all of these things. To not have it in feels like a bit of an odd choice to me.
Yeah, if the entire plot for the German side is obviously the master race theory and all of that stuff, then the evil is on the screen. Why not just have the flag that represented the evil? Hey?
Odd one, huh?
It is odd.
The movie featured more practical effects rather than the standard CGI effects most movies use. This was done to get a better reaction from the actors involved in the scenes where something gruesome would happen. Again, lovely little fact.
One of my likes.
Yeah. You got to have the realism in when you can have it. And if that realism means an actor potentially dying, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get a good blend of CGI for the things that are quite unachievable and then practical effects or things that don't defy physics, you've got it made.
I feel like that first scene in the plane and then that last scene with the main character running out of an exploding building.
That run was exceptional.
Really impressive feats of filmmaking. The problem is it bookmarks a film that doesn't keep up with the start and the end, in my personal opinion, but I'll get on to that a bit more when I go into my dislikes.
Well, a bag sags in the middle, didn't it?
It does sag in the middle.
Didn't it?
It does. It fucking does. Operation Overlord was the code name for the Allied operation for the Battle of Normandy, which launched the successful invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe. This, alongside Operation Neptune, would become known as D-Day. Now, I included this for one reason. The man across the table is a history nut.
Me like.
And I know you like, and I like when I give you historical facts, and then sometimes you build upon them.
Yes.
Do you have anything to build upon this one?
What, on the Overlord fact?
Yeah.
Just that it wasn't the end all of World War II. That had already started. The catalyst for that was Stalingrad, 1942, on the Eastern Front.
Look at you go.
Russia would have got there anyway. But for Europe, obviously, there was this emerging threat of communism. So they realised anything that Russia take in whilst killing the Germans, they would probably retain, which they ended up doing, as you know, because they kept East Germany. They took Hungary and Poland, etc. So it was more, let's finish off Hitler, let's end this war. But at the same time, it was like, how much of Europe can we get to and protect before the Ruskies move further inland? But the war was already lost. Hitler decided to fight on two fronts. He didn't look at history. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. Napoleon and the Grand Armée marched onto Moscow. It was just a wasteland. Attrition. Never invade Russia. Don't work.
Look at you.
Thanks.
Look at you.
Thanks for giving me a moment to
Well,
just...
that's why I included it. There's several interesting facts, and if you like the sound of the facts in this, go onto IMDb and look them up yourself, you lazy fucks. But I just knew I knew that this would be a fact you enjoyed, and I knew you'd add something onto it.
Yeah.
And I was so enamoured by what you were saying, I wasn't even listening.
Yeah.
I was just like, just impressed.
I think
Glazed by impressed.
They had something like 1,400 planes in the invasion, so the airborne, and they had like 11,000 ships. Something like 130,000 with the initial landing force or something crazy like that.
It's a madness, isn't it?
It's a madness.
Isn't World War II mad?
It is, considering it was 5 years. 5 years. The longest battle of World War II, the Battle of the Atlantic.
How long?
5 years. The
God.
U-boat peril. Yeah. It was the longest battle, and they had the highest attrition rate. 30,000 U-boat sailors, submariners, 40,000 went into the war, only 10,000 came back.
Fucking hell.
In their iron coffins. Boom.
Why don't you have a history podcast?
I have no interest, because I know it on a layman's level. I don't know the deep intricacies or the economic issues that were going on, the fight for oil and stuff.
I don't know. Whenever you speak to me about it, I'm in pure awe.
I just love military history, man. I can't help it. I was just one of them kids. I loved playing with toy soldiers, and I always thought of myself as one day being a brave soldier, taking two in the head at Goose Green in the Falklands. Never happened.
Still time.
No.
What do you like about Overlord?
You gotta be shitting me. A line made famous by Palmer from The Thing, when Norris's head decides to become a spider, and as a homage it appears to be reused in this when Kasteka turns into the undead in the loft,
Yeah.
So it must be a homage to Daddy Russell, but I love the use of the line from The Thing.
Nice.
It can't be coincidence.
No, it cannot
Wyatt
be.
Russell's in it,
Yeah.
and something crazy happens in the corner. It's like, you gotta be shitting me, Palmer.
That has to be a hidden Easter egg placed in that film for fans of The Thing, loyal fans of The Thing. Like, there's a lot of them, you being one of them. It has to be in there for that reason. That little nugget has to be in there because of that.
Anyone that ain't a fan of The Thing has got something wrong with them.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
That was only, I know it was a short like, but I did like it. I don't know if you picked up on it.
That's good.
Second like, you touched on it a lot in your facts, but as much use of practical effects over CGI was muchly appreciated. The plane sequence, like you were saying, on the gimbal, the gore and makeup. And I think it's saying Wyatt Russell would have lapped up, considering his dad was in one of the best horror films ever made, The Thing. And that in turn contains some of the best practical effects ever made in cinema. And it got me hard when you messaged me after your first watch of The Thing and when I did not expect it to look that good.
Yeah. Full disclosure, you've been speaking to me about that film for years, never got round to watching it, and I thought, it's going to be dated. I'm no doubt it's a good film, but I thought it'd be very much a case of its time. I thought, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to struggle with the effects and it's going to be really dated and shot. It's a masterpiece of suspense, and the effects in that, like, I genuinely struggle to think of like modern practical effects that better it. I can't really think of it. I was blown away by that.
It's rare. Practical effects is a dying thing, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you, because one of my favourite things about the film was that opening scene. Using all those real effects really added to it. And Overlord opens with such a violent ferocity that is visceral and very fun to watch. The opening 5-10 minutes strapped me into what I was hoping to be a relentless roller coaster of thrills and kills. Unfortunately, the rest of the film didn't keep up with that mad momentum, but I was still very impressed with how Overlord begun. Now, for me, that you're sort of grabbed by the bollocks in that opening scene, and everything's kicking off at such high pace, and the film starts once the plane gets blown up. And I think first time watching this, I was like, fucking hell, I'm in for a real treat here. Personally, I'll go into it in length when I get to my dislikes. Personally, it never matched that opening scene for me. That was the highest point of the film, and the rest of it didn't live up to it, which I think is a damn shame.
I agree with you. I would say off the back of that, it's a high caliber B movie. It's fun, it's silly, but it's still a B movie nonetheless.
That's a really interesting way to frame it, because I had not thought of that. And you're probably right. Yeah, it probably is a first-class B movie is the best way to market this.
I think so, yeah.
Because there's some great set pieces, the effects like we've spoken of, the fact that they're real. Like there's some great moments in a film that's kind of it gets lost in its mediocrity in large parts for me personally. But yeah, first class B movie like that.
First class B movie. Last, great subtext for Nazi ideology about the master race, because to believe in such a theory makes you a monster. Ergo, the monsters in this come about because the master race has failed in proving their theory that they are superior. Jesse Owens, 1936 Olympics, proved Hitler wrong with 4 gold medals.
Boom.
He rang them up his arse.
Yeah, take that, Hitler.
Boom.
Little prick.
It's not just Hitler, though. The world over's had a superiority complex, isn't it?
Take that, world.
Superpowers, that's how they become superpowers. They think they are superior.
Delusion.
Well, not delusion. Who's got the most guns?
Yeah.
Who's got the most muscle?
Yeah.
We only have kings and queens because their ancestors decided to fucking rape and kill the next village.
Wow.
Boom. Just like The Thing. Assimilation. Assimilate.
Look at you go.
Take them in. Change your cultures. Change your religion.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
Offering
blankets with disease on them.
Yeah. Pulling on a mad thread there, sir.
I'm done with my life.
And it all made sense. I like.
I'm done with my life.
All right, I'll go on to mine then, eh? Brain dead, brain eating fun. Overlord is big dumb nonsense that offered a perfect remedy to a shitty day at work.
Yeah.
I like that I didn't have to think with this one, and sometimes I just want to shit getting shot up. Gutsy, gnarly and gore galore, Overlord knows what it is and did exactly what I wanted it to. Now it's that. When it was being daft, when it was being violent, when it was being a spectacle visually, when it was being a bit tongue-in-cheek, first-class B movie, like you said, I was here for it. Problem for me is in the middle, it kind of tries to build up a suspense that more superior films successfully do, and it kind of loses its identity because of that.
Did you say you want to shit whilst getting blown up?
I want to watch shit getting shot up. Yeah, I don't want to shit while I'm watching shit get shot up. That would be mad.
Well put.
But yeah, for me, when films like this, if the film continued how it started and it was just 90 minutes like that, I'd be happy.
Totally with you on that exit run from the complex, though. I mean,
amazing.
It looks so good.
Yeah,
the explosions left to right, and the pace.
Yeah,
the pace was just exceptional. The way he was just running towards the camera,
lightning quick. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. Moments of this film save it from being and now that's how I'm going to frame it because of what you said, a really superior B movie, and that was one of them. I also liked it was just a fun premise. Despite not all of the film working for me personally, I do like the idea of Nazi zombies, and I do enjoy the setting of World War II. Combining the most detestable group of people in history with brain-eating undead is a great concept that should have made this film feel really special. Watching Overlord made me want to play zombies on Call of Duty or kick Nazi ass in Wolfenstein. Is that for me?
Are they zombies?
I wondered.
They're the undead, but zombies consume flesh. But these ones,
well, we don't.
They're more about the kill, aren't they?
But they didn't. So are the ones in 28 Days Later. They just go crazy, and the crazies. But I still think they're deemed zombies. And I wonder if they just hadn't got to mealtime yet.
Maybe. So because the runtime for them getting out of... So what happens is the 101st Airborne have a special group. There's a corporal in there. He's the only guy that can save the day. They land in France and they have to find this radio tower to knock out. And whilst there, they had no prior knowledge of this place, did they? But whilst there, they discover that there's some sort of underground 1,000-year Reich. We need to make zombie soldiers. But the minute the zombies finally get out of the room is just at the same point where they're about to blow it up. So you never really see them chow down. or eat, but they're specimens.
Yeah.
They're perfect physiqued.
For me, I feel like they were in their early days in the new zombie role. So they're finding their feet. They're doing the training videos. They're doing all the legal stuff. And then when they've been there a little bit longer, they're going to start eating peeps.
Well, maybe zombies have different societal groups like humans. So let's say you've got the Olympians of the human race, right? They look after their bodies. Maybe the zombies in zombie films are the fat people that claim benefits and don't want to work.
Oh.
So they just chew down on the closest protein.
Look at you. Look at you pulling on various threads and adding meanings to various things.
I think I'm trying to fill it up.
I think this is going to be a short episode, so I think you should keep doing that. Yeah, good work. What didn't you like about the film?
I did not like how Pilu Aspect, a.k.a. Nazi Captain Waffner, a.k.a. Euron Greyjoy, looks like the offspring of a successful male-male conception from fathers Michael Shannon and Holt McCallany.
Yeah.
In my mind, there is only room for one of them. Doppelgangers are a real issue.
Yeah.
Who would you pick? Honestly, the minute Euron Greyjoy came on screen, I was like, why is my brain having trouble understanding who he is? And I was like, I think he's Holt McCallany. Yeah. And I also think he's Michael Shannon.
He reeks of a second-hand Hans Lander from Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
It's Hans Lander off of Wish.
Yeah.
But you're right. When he came on, and I only up until you just said who it was, I was like, that's who it fucking is. Because I couldn't clock. I knew I recognised the face. It's because he's beardless. That's it.
That's true.
And he's not in scraggy clothing like he is in Game of Thrones. But of course it's him. Of course it's fucking him.
It did make me think, like, it is difficult when you're an actor and someone looks very similar to you.
Yeah.
I think that can actually affect your career.
But I think a lot of actors actually get work because they look like someone who'd already made it. Elias Koteas. He looks like Robert De Niro.
He does.
Yeah.
He does look like RD.
Yeah. And there's a few of them. Can't think of them now. But I know there are a few doppelgangers, as you say, out there. Yeah.
I remember watching a spoof film and there is an actor that looks the spit of Kevin Spacey and they even wrote it into the spoof film. He's strangling someone and goes, fuck you, Kevin Spacey, taking on my jobs.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, who is that? We're not going to get it.
I can't remember.
We've got to leave it there. Although it could fill up more minutes if we just sat here pretending we were trying to think of it.
Nah, that's all right.
We're good.
It was just it was kind of like my first like. It was a bit silly. So my first dislike. Second dislike. If they know about the tower, then it means reconnaissance flights or spies saw it. So it's an old church. It's on a map, and therefore you can fly by navigation with ground attack aircraft. So you could take it out just with one Mosquito or P-51 Mustang with rockets. You don't have to destroy a church. But people theorise that Gwahir the Windlord could have dropped Frodo off at Mount Doom, like a long-distance Uber. So how about we approach this with the same pragmatism?
I mean, man literally said 10 minutes ago, I don't know a lot about war stuff. Look at what you've just reeled off.
Could have easily done it, though. It didn't need a corporal in a plane that 80% chance he might have died in that plane and not landed. You could have you could have flown a glider into that radar mast.
Very short film, though.
Short film, but I'm not happy with the due diligence.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I think Eisenhower and that would have been like, that's essential to the landing. Really essential, yeah. Who are we sending? A couple of newbies in 101st and a corporal who apparently went to Italy and he don't want to talk to no one.
Which makes me think, do they know the Guanings?
I think they do, because the officer at the end goes, oh no, he says there's rumours that there was something down there. If there's anything down there, we should dig down and get it, like below the church. I was like, so the church got destroyed anyway. Yeah. So you could have sent a little squadron. You could have sent old Bucky, B-17 straight over, just dropped a grand slam on that dog.
Yeah, dumped
and then
that dog.
It's done.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the hell they go through to get one guy in that building to set charges.
Yeah, spit.
You could have just flown a plane into it.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Well, I mean, and, you know, me and you in real life are efficient people. And when we see inefficiencies, we don't like it.
No,
we're efficient
irritating.
people. It's actually an insult to people like us if people are inefficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want people to call it out in this. If you're going to call it out in Lothar, you've got to call it out in this.
It's not big as Lothar, though.
No.
But you're a Lothar fan. While we're here, while we're on the subject, could they have got the Eagle Uber just straight to Mordor?
Gwahir the Windlord. I don't think so, on the basis that it's supposed to be a secret operation. So a giant eagle flying near Mordor, remember the air is thick with poison. Boromir speaks about how the very air can poison you, etc. But you've got to remember the Nazgul have their own version of eagles that can kill and attack. So it would have been obvious then. The whole idea is that he doesn't know that there's this little hobbit slowly making his way there. It's like when you drop a spy into a country. It's a lot less obvious than sending 5 legions of soldiers, isn't it?
Because he's got eyes in the sky. He is literally an eye in the fucking sky.
They're right. Gandalf's stingy with his magic in that film. He uses it when he don't really need to, and when he really needs to use it, he decides to just use his sword. So throw him on Gwaihir along with Frodo, send him in with that blinding light that he uses outside Minas Tirith, and just drop Frodo in the volcano with the ring.
Yeah.
Kill him.
He's a real cock tease with his magic, eh?
He really is. Third dislike. Was there ever a non-suspicious Nazi? They literally wake up and question their cereal and interrogate their reflection. Like every single film, there's just never they can't have all been like human lie detectors. They can't have all been suspicious of every living person. Even the women in the films that they're trying to sleep with, they do all the right things, romantic, flirtatious, but at the same time, every other question's to find out, their heritage. I just wish in World War II films sometimes there was just, yes, he's labelled a Nazi, but surely there's more to him than being a Nazi.
I guess they kind of look at that in Zone of Interest, but not into too much detail. It's more like the mundanity of the everyday adjacent to such tragedy. They don't really look into like who he is as a person, like his personality. It doesn't really explore that. And you're probably right. It does feel like, rightly so, Nazis as a group of people are villainised. Of course, that's the fucking right thing to do, but they are all carbon copies. They're all stereotypes.
Yeah.
You've got Hans Lander, who's got a bit of character, but he's still just an absolute monster arsehole. Of course he is. Mm-hmm. And you're right, they've all got that really high level of profiling, suspicion, like detective, really detestable people, which, that is the right way to paint them out. But they're not, and then you're right, then I can't think of an interesting...
There's no layers to them.
No.
It's always on the surface.
But I guess it's just because of that history. I think the moment someone tries to like make you think about there's potentially a lighter side or a good side to someone such as deemed such a monster would be problematic. Because I don't think there'd ever be a time where too much time has passed where you've got to be really careful and sensitive. But then saying that, they did a fucking zombie film set in World War II. So what is acceptable and what's not? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Last dislike, Adepo's character. He says to our fair maiden in this film, 3 months ago I was cutting the grass in my yard. Then a mailman shows up with a letter from the army. Now I'm here. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Here we go.
I'm quite sure you didn't get drafted into the airborne. You had to volunteer for that. So that's a huge inaccuracy. So
you look at your knowledge again, pretending you don't have knowledge, and it's literally bleeding out of you.
You had to volunteer to be in the airborne. It wasn't a drafting place. You didn't get drafted for the airborne.
So you volunteer, and then do you have to apply? Do you have to do a test to see if you're good enough?
It's a rigorous screening exercise to be the airborne, but you get paid more as well because it's more risky and stuff. You're jumping out of planes and parachutes.
So you wouldn't just be getting a note through the door and go, it's not jury duty. It's not like, you've got to go and be in the Air Force.
You got drafted into militias, regular army, navy, etc. But you wouldn't have got drafted into the airborne. You had to volunteer for it. That's a fact.
So to be in the airborne, it's like being in Ravenclaw in Harry Potter.
No.
Like the best of the bunch.
No.
Help me understand.
Whoever said Ravenclaw were the best? They didn't win one award.
Yeah, but they're the smartest of the smarts, aren't they? Was it Gryffindor?
No, it's not that. If you were smart, you weren't going to war. You were going into the Oppenheimer, Operation Manhattan, weren't you? Mm. Yeah, no, man. You had to volunteer for it. No one could force you to be in the airborne. Get your jump wings.
I don't know. You spoke about Lord of the Rings. I just tried to throw in Harry Potter in there without actually knowing a great deal about Harry Potter.
That's my dislike.
Okay, I'll go on to mine then. Second act. Overlord comes fast out the gate and has a crazy conclusion. Unfortunately, though, the middle part of the film really sags for me. I mentioned it earlier, but I think that director Julius Avery opted for suspense instead of going for balls-to-the-wall action. But personally, all I want from a film like this is fast-paced, mindless action with fun characters and sharp dialogue. It's a real shame, because if the film just rolled up its sleeves and delivered 90 minutes of Nazi nuking nonsense, the final product would have been better. It took too long for the shit to hit the fan.
Yeah.
There's that for me. Like, suspense works so well when a master of suspense is dealing it. When Tarantino's dealing suspense, it's amazing because it makes you work for it. It makes you want it to be over. Films like this, the dialogue's not good enough. The suspense, it doesn't feel malleable enough for it to feel decent. So they should have stuck to the decent B movie and gone, believe all that shit behind. I just want to see violence. I just want to see Nazis getting done.
And with Tarantino, it peaks in the middle. It doesn't sag.
Yep.
You start with Tarantino, you're already high altitude, you're already up there in the Himalayas, and he takes you to Everest.
Yeah, he does.
And he brings you back down and you've climbed the highest mountain in the world.
Yeah, and it's a smooth landing as well.
Schnook.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't like about it, crap characters and dull dialogue. It's kind of, my second dislike kind of backs up my thesis that this film had heaps of potential but took a misstep in its personality. There was no memorable characters, no standout performances, and no quotable dialogue. Now, for me, in a film like this one, that is up there in terms of importance alongside big, loud and proud violent set pieces.
Yeah.
Again, if you had one or two really likeable characters with a few zingers, Overlord could have been elevated to a great modern action flick.
Mm-hmm.
It was all there. The recipe was all there. And then just it was in the execution that just wasn't great for me. And that was a real damn shame.
Poor quality ingredients.
Yep.
All filled up with water.
Yep.
Like chicken breast. It's not 80% water.
Yep. You got all the good cooking equipment and then you got your ingredients from Lidl. Although actually Lidl's not that bad.
It is for fresh produce.
It's better. I would say it's better than Asda for
And the
fresh
bacon's
produce.
stringy. I bought thick bacon from there once. It was wafer thin, fell apart in my hands.
That ain't thick bacon.
Nah.
That's
The greatest thing about Lidl is that middle aisle where you can buy an astronaut's helmet.
Yeah, you can get that. What's that eagle flying thing from Lord of the Rings? You can buy one of them there.
Gwahir the Windlord.
You can get a Gwahir the Windlord for like $6.99 in Lidl in that middle aisle.
It's insane.
Yeah, go to fucking Mount Doom yourself.
Get a kayak.
Yeah. Third dislike, Wyatt Russell looks like Harry Kane.
Yeah, a bit.
That's
He does with the beard. If Kane has beard, it's similar.
It's that unfortunate bottom half of face. Now, as someone with an unfortunate whole of face, I feel like I can mention on half a face. But you look at his parents.
He's Goldie Hawn his mummy, yeah?
Yeah, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. He should be like coming out bronze. He should be an Adonis.
I think he is. I think he's quite handsome.
I mean, he's handsome, but he's not as handsome as I'd like him to be. And he looks like Harry Kane. I don't want to see Harry Kane in a fucking film. Guy's gormless. Guy's got too much tongue. Yeah. That's it. I think I went quite in on my dislikes in my first two, so the third one's just that Wyatt Russell looks like Harry Kane. What are you going to do?
I like that. I mean, I had a weird dislike with the Holt McAnally lookalike.
Yeah.
So.
Both feel accurate.
Yeah.
They feel significant.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some questions.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 zombie movies?
I might have to mix a bit of comedy there with a bit of more serious zombies. Shaun of the Dead's got to be up there for me. Has to be. If I was to pick a comedy one, so Zombieland's a great one, but if I'm going one comedy, I'll say Shaun of the Dead. It makes me laugh. It's set in like a London suburb, so it's relatable. Cornettos are mentioned in it, so it's
Love a cornetto.
It's great. The second one, saw it years ago, loved it. Night of the Living Dead, 1968, George A. Romero.
Classic.
But we spoke about it in a previous episode. More important for the fact that Dwayne Jones was the lead in it, a black actor, 1968. That's cinematic history, right?
Iconic,
there.
Yep.
And then for a change, because it was very different when it came out 28 days later, because it was fast zombies and it was set in London, and that opening shot of an empty bridge is still iconic, I'd say.
I'm a little upset with myself because Shaun of the Dead and 28 Days Later, great shouts. I don't know why I haven't included them.
Shizzles, really?
Yeah.
I can't say Wreck because that was a brace of films, and Sean Pipp Zombieland for me.
Yeah, see, I've gone Train to Busan. I think it's great. That concept, that single setting, like just
action.
It's just fucked. How fucked would it be to be on a train with zombies? It'd be pretty mad, huh?
Where is Busan?
Korea.
Oh, cool.
South Korea.
Yeah.
The good.
It wouldn't be North, would it?
The good one. Can we say that?
I suppose so.
I don't think we've got any listeners in North Korea. I don't think we've got any fucking listeners left, so I say what I want.
The North one's what, a theocratic dictatorship. Yeah. They literally believe Kim Jong-un is God.
They actually believe that in the 2002 World Cup, they won the World Cup because the only footage they were shown was them scoring the one goal in the World Cup.
Oh my God. If I was a God, I wouldn't want to be a big fat baby with no hair.
No.
Like, that's their God. Big fat baby wearing a black suit all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I bet he laughs at them cat videos. Like that.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. The other two out of my three, that's floored me a bit. The other two of my three favourite zombie movies alongside Train to Busan, World War Z, just The Man Pit. It's a great film.
Oh, you got
great
action
fun.
big.
And Zombieland. Yeah, but you're right. I wish I'd gone because 28 Days Later is a bit different. First time I saw a zombie run, I was like, I didn't know, what? They're meant to be slow, sluggish. I should be able to outpace them. But yeah, they're my three, but your three are also very good.
Yep.
Yep. What other time in history would you like to see a zombie film set in?
I'd like to. You ever heard of the writer Alma Katsu?
No.
She did a book called Hunger.
Look at you.
And it was it was loosely based around the Donner Party. We spoke about this before, but it's like a fictional take on a real event, like the Terror. Terror was a fictional book about a real event. So I'm thinking the extinction of the Neanderthals.
Oh.
And the Neanderthals, part of their evolution was they become like some sort of zombie flesh-eating fucker. And the reason they're extinct is because us Homo sapiens killed them off because they were zombies.
Oh.
So it would be a fictional based on how did the Neanderthals become extinct with no science in it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've gone Vikings.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, really. Just for shits and gigs.
How difficult to kill each other as well with all like the armour and the chainmail.
Yeah. Good shout, yeah. If one of them takes a turn and he's all kitted up, you have to really fucking fight to kill that fucker.
Fire or something.
Yeah.
But then again, Vikings, zombies, to my knowledge, wouldn't be the best of swimmers. And
It's true, boat it. Yeah.
Just boat it to other islands.
Grab yourself a canal from the middle aisle in Lidl. Boat out that dog.
But that could be subtext for the spreading of disease, overpopulation, because Viking leaves his land because zombies took it.
Oh, and that's why they started being arseholes.
But one of them on the boat's got it. Takes that shit to England.
We just write another film. What director would you like to see direct a zombie movie?
I'd have to base that on characters that I think would be exceptional in a zombie movie. And for that, I'm going to do two directors, the Coen brothers.
Oh.
Just to see mad characters like the dude from Lebowski, Marge Gunderson from Fargo, the cop, Walter Sobchak, Lebowski, he's a pedophile, man. Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men. Imagine them surviving in a zombie film.
Oh, yeah.
Exceptional characters.
Ensemble cast with some of the greatest characters. They do characters as good as, if not
as
better
Tino.
than,
Tino and Coen brothers do the best characters.
Yeah.
Now, if you can get a director that does exceptional characters, put them in a zombie film. Like you were saying about this film, there's no exceptional characters.
Exactly, yeah.
You get someone like the dude in a zombie film, big beer belly, loves bowling, has a goatee and carries an Uzi.
You want him.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great shout. I've gone Wes Anderson because I'm a basic bitch.
We have spoke about the love of wanting him to do a horror though.
Yeah, so I'd like him doing a zombie film. It'd be a bit off the cuff, like
2D platformer.
Yeah, like how would he do it? Like could he using his aesthetic make a terrifying zombie? Maybe, I don't know. It'd be interesting. Wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah.
What would you rate Overlord out of 10, please?
10 for a B movie.
Oh, okay.
And 5.5 for a real movie.
Yeah. No, that's
its effects are there's some brilliant effects in it. It's got a great opening sequence, excellent exit sequence. Like you said, the middle's just, I was bored.
Yeah.
And because this is the second time watching it, so I watched it 3-4 years ago, enjoyed it more the first time. Second time, I was bored. I knew all of the buttons that were going to get pressed, and I was just like, this is laborious.
It's such a shame when a film does that, when it's bookmarked with a great start that shows loads of promise and a great ending that is let down by what come before it. It is a damn shame, and that's where I sit with this. And it could have been like a real cult classic. Like if you've got some really memorable performances in there, some characters like we said that we liked, some sharp dialogue, all these things, this dog could be sitting on a 7 or an 8, but unfortunately it doesn't. So that's why I would rate it a 6, a bit higher than you, but nothing revolutionary really. That gives Overlord a total score of 11.5 out of 20. If you like your zombie films to be gnarly, nasty, and null of food for thought, or if you've ever wanted to see a nucleus of Nazi nuking Neanderthals negotiate nonsense all in the sake of giving Shitler to Hitler, then Overlord could be a film for you. Overlord is available to stream on Channel 4 on demand. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed Iron Sky, Inglourious Bastards, and Train to Busan. Should we play a game?
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action! A mentally unstable woman targets escape rooms and their employees. She goes on a locking spree and traps escape room employees in the buildings of their own escape rooms by using a combination of elaborate locks and complex tech equipment that shuts down mobile phones and computers. She leaves them clues on how to escape and hijacks the CCTV to watch them suffer.
That's just a great escape room.
Yep, it's a meta escape room. She becomes an internet sensation similar to Banksy, with the general consensus finding the whole thing funny and, at most, fairly inconvenient. After causing many escape rooms to lose money because of their own employees often being unable to escape for days at a time, the police have no choice but to get involved.
Why are you obsessed with the internet and social media? It's like
There's no media
you
socials.
said she becomes an internet sensation.
Oh, there is internet, yeah.
It's like 4 fucking films where like internet's your greatest enemy. Adam,
like-
the director, against the internet.
Who uses it on a daily basis to plug this fucking podcast.
Why don't you buy a turtleneck, go down to the South Bank and do some sort of poetry on anti-internet?
No, because I'd hate myself too much.
You would, wouldn't you?
I'd hate myself too much. No, but just like, if she's just locking people up, like, it's kind of localized. But if people are like, oh, have you heard about that mad woman that's like smart enough to lock people in escape rooms? Like, it's like, why is she doing it? Does she has a vendetta against escape rooms? Is she just an absolute Fruit Loop? Like, what's going on? It's not satirical or speaking of anything.
Is she crazy?
She's just mentally unstable. So
That's not that bad, though, is it?
That's the point.
I thought you were going to say like she eats raw rabbits or something.
No, she cooks them, but she just got a chip on her shoulder, and that's why it could be a comedy. She just, for some reason, she just decides to target escape room employees by locking them up.
Where this came from?
It's a true story.
What?
There's a story. I've like magnified it for the sake of the plot, but there was a story where a disgruntled person at an escape room, I think they had a bad experience, locked all the people inside the escape room because they were that pissed off, and then they like got charged and had to do like a community service or something. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Imagine a person was like a serial escape room employee locker-inner.
I think escape rooms are one of the worst things ever made.
Have you done one?
No, don't want to.
I'm
no interest.
Without ever doing one, consider it to be the worst usage of time possible.
It's inflammatory. You know you're in a place that has to have a fire exit, so the illusion's dead immediately.
Yeah.
I did do one on a Zoom chat with the American team in the job that I was in, and it was the most depressing thing. Do you know what happened? It was during COVID. So the guy in the escape room had a camera on his head, and he'd go around going, guys, where do you want me to look? And someone would say at the lamp. He'd go, do you want me to look at this lamp? And he'd go, oh, what's this under here? I was like dying inside.
I promise you, I mean this. I'd rather have COVID again than sit through that.
I no interest in escape rooms.
Like
them rage rooms. They're a bit different.
What's rage rooms?
So in Hungary, you go to a rage room. It's basically where they take old TVs, old beds, old cars. They put it in an allotment, give you baseball bats. You can smash the shit out of stuff. Just go crazy.
Now that is a very good way to spend some time.
That's good for your brain, though. That's probably letting out some anger. That's but an escape room. Oh,
I like to watch a film to escape mentally. I like to play computer games to escape mentally.
Yes.
I don't want to be in a room. I don't know. Do you do it with friends, or more likely a corporate setting where you have to pretend to get on and you're going to have to try and prove your intelligence? No, for me, it's cringe.
Corporate.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the sound of it. I've never done it. I know that once I got there, I'd like to think I'd be Sherlock and I'd be going over the top at trying to find it. I know I would, but I'm not interested. I don't want it. I don't like it as a concept. It's a fad. There'll be no escape rooms in the next 10 years. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
They're crap.
Yeah. So should we go back to what the plot was?
Let's go back to what the plot. Based on just... I suppose there's a little similarity here, but based on American Hustle, I might go David O. Russell for, like scamming. He also did Silver Linings, so there's a bit of mental issue going on there.
That's nice.
And Three Kings, which is one of my faves.
Yeah.
Funny, serious matter, funny.
Yes, I like that. I think this one, like, come on, if someone's just locking people up because they're not well.
This shouldn't even have been news. Someone locked someone in an escape room. My brother and sister, my eldest brother and sister, locked people with special needs in a hall when they were young. They were like, my brother and sister at the time were like 11 and 12, but they went to special needs school, and they locked all of the special needs people in the school and were laughing at them through the window. That's a lot more shocking than someone locking someone in an escape room.
What would have been funnier is if they'd locked themselves in the room and they were laughing and they were all outside. That would have been a great what the plot, though, that little story. I wish I'd gone with that.
Yes, it would have been shallow in the middle. It would have sagged in the middle. Would have sagged in the middle. All right, David O. Russell directing, even though no director would want this, I don't personally think.
You're out of order. It's the end of the season. You're out of order. You get what you're given and you take it.
It's based on a female, yeah? Female lead.
Yes, female lead, yeah.
I'm going to go Greta Lee. Because she played a good, quite sort of almost bipolar friend in Russian Doll.
Yeah.
And obviously...
She was in Beef.
She was in Beef, yeah. And
Was she in Beef?
I fell in love with her in past lives. Genuine, fell in love.
No, I don't think she was in Beef. That's my mistake.
You better find that out because they don't all look the same.
I never said that.
You said it before.
No, I never.
You implied it.
No, I never. You got to either tell the people I didn't say that or you have to edit out the episode.
You didn't say it.
Exactly.
But in this world, someone will just say you said it.
I didn't fucking say it.
They misquote you.
I didn't say it.
It's totally fine. I said Holt McCallany and Michael Shannon
I'm just saying,
look like you're on Greyjoy. There's no
just
fucking
saying
difference.
that Greta Lee isn't in Beef. There's no beef.
That's
with that.
fine.
There's no. What do you want to do about this, bro?
David Russell directing, Greta Lee starring in the titular role of someone who does a very boring crime. But
that's the point of the story. Everyone's got something better to be doing than escape rooms, and a criminal's got something better to be doing than locking escape room employees in an escape room. It's the point. I'm tired. I have a headache. Leave me alone.
Okay. All right.
David O. Russell.
David
Greta
O. Russell
Lee,
directing,
who didn't
Greta Lee
appear in
starring.
Beef.
Do you know, I'd name the film Hand of the Ghost.
Oh.
Because in ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia, I can't remember which, they used to think that hands symbolised control over a person. So mental illness was known as hands. Mm-hmm. So I call it Hand of the Ghost because she's put them in there. They got to find their way out. She is Ghost Hand. Hand of the Ghost.
And that's what they call her. Mrs. Ghost Hand.
The new film from David O. Russell, starring Greta Lee, who was not in Beef.
You're caught in a trap. You can't walk out. Because I hate you too much, baby. Why can't you see what I'm doing to you? Because you don't believe a word I say. You can't go on together with suspicious minds. And you can build your dreams in my suspicious mind.
Hand of the Ghost.